This tutorial is part 3 of a 3-part series. While the videos can be used as a reference, they're really designed as a tutorial and meant to be watched in order. So with that said, let's recap what we learned in the previous tutorial. And we'll start off with the ultimate find. That's that find button right there. And when we click it, you notice that buttons disappear and things like that. Well, that's all about hiding objects, if you remember correctly. We have in here this feature under the data section where we can say get window mode equals 1 or 0 depending on whether it's find or browse mode, and make the objects appear and disappear. In fact, we overlap them here if you can see. So some of them appear in browse mode and some in find mode. And we do a lot of that with a lot of different things that you don't really want to see in find mode, such as this button. And you can see the little icon indicating that it has a hide object calculation on it. And if we take a look at the script, it's quite a significant script here. You'll see right in here that we have a whole bunch of subscripts to start off with, saving the found set. But we have this loop that makes sure that we can redefine the find criteria. All kinds of great stuff to allow for a very adaptive and dynamic script that handles all find scenarios and assists the user better than the regular find feature. We also created tons and tons of calculations. We did some totals, of course. If you look over here in the invoices, we have all kinds of totals here. That includes the totals that are on our print layout. So we come down into here and look at our lines print. There it is, lines invoice. You'll see we have some totals here. Now these are summary fields. The ones I showed you before were calculation fields. We learned the difference between those. We also did some phone formatting. If we come back here to our customers and we type in a number in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Oops, didn't quite get it right there. It automatically formats it for us. It also validates it for us. And we move that into our custom functions, which we'll take a look at in a second. We also learned how to do some text parsing, which we'll do a lot more in this third of the series. We learned a lot about FileMaker Advanced as well, which is very cool as far as development. And you should have it if you're a serious developer. We started off learning about Recover, which is really not a feature that's part of FileMaker Advanced, but I think it should be, and I warned you about how it should be used, so if you skimmed over that, watch it again. It's a very important video to watch. We learned about plugins, and we used an example plugin and showed you how you interface with them with calculations. We talked about the developer utilities. If we come in here, we talked about how you can do encryption, and you can make a runtime. You can do all kinds of things. You can come in here also and remove all admin access. I mean, there's so many things you can do. It's a great feature. We talked at length about the script debugger. This is a great tool to slow down your scripts so you can find the problem easier. Custom functions, right? One of my favorites, allows you to centralize your code. And we did that with our phone formatting. So if we make a change here, then it flows out to every place where we call this custom function. And then we also talked about recursion inside of our custom functions, and that's pretty cool. We actually did a phone formatting recursion, so we don't have to limit ourselves to 7 or 10 digits. And then, of course, probably one of my favorite interface elements, custom menus. I can change the menus to be whatever I want. We made them adaptive, so when you switch over to invoices, you notice that it says something different when we employ them. You'll see it says invoices here, a new invoice rather than new customer and things like that. And very easy to set up, not very difficult. We came in here and worked with this code in here. Specifically, the most complex code was in here, where we would made a custom function that allowed us to grab the layout name and name these based on what layout you're on. Very cool stuff. So it ultimately comes down to doing less work. And then we talked about the most often overlooked issue, which is multi-user programming or record locking. We did quite a few things to show you how to accomplish or get around record locking. Not just brute force, but thinking creatively to get around those issues so that your users don't have problems with the system where data doesn't get written because records were locked. And then we finally did our custom form letters, if you remember those. One of my favorite little techniques, because it allows you to put together form letters in browse mode rather than layout mode. Saves your developer a lot of time because he doesn't have to make a layout every time somebody wants a new form letter and needs a change. They can make them themselves and save them anytime they want. So that's our recap. In the next 8 hours of the training, we're going to cover some brand new stuff, as you'll find out. Hopefully it'll round out this invoicing solution very well for you, and you'll be very pleased with the knowledge level and how you've increased it.